Holy shit. He said what?
Meghan Markle overnight finally joined the Kardashian club. And I feel really sad about it. I mean, it's surprising given those three actually work really hard, unlike her. But it's just quite pathetic, isn't it?
Well, I can appreciate hard work, and I like working hard.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
What happens when the self-proclaimed global princess tries to buy her way into Hollywood's most notorious family, only to get slapped with the coldest response possible? Meghan Markle thought a carefully wrapped, luxury stuffed gift basket would be her golden ticket into Kardashian world. Instead, she got a brutal 4-word dismissal. We don't know her. That's right, Kim, Khloe, and the entire empire of curated chaos didn't even bother to play along with Meghan's fantasy. And the best part? That tiny act of shade exposed exactly what Meghan has been running from. She isn't a Hollywood queen, she's a desperate wannabe knocking on doors that will never open. Let's be real, if even the Kardashians, the queens of fame for fame's sake, won't touch you, it's game over.
All of this, all the lies about the British royal family, all the racism claims, all the desperate desire to bring down the British monarchy, was all for this? For this?
They built billion-dollar empires on selfies and scandals, and yet they still saw through Meghan's act from a mile away. Because here's the truth. While Meghan has been selling herself as a silenced victim, the Kardashians recognized her for what she is, a social climber who always wants more, but never quite belongs. This wasn't just a basket being rejected, it was Meghan's Hollywood dreams getting tossed straight into the trash. When rumors started swirling about Meghan Markle sending a high-end gift basket to the Kardashians, it wasn't the kind of warm, thoughtful gesture people imagine. This wasn't some neighborly, welcome to the neighborhood moment, it was a power play. Every item inside that basket was handpicked to scream luxury, from overpriced candles and elite skincare to carefully chosen products designed to broadcast one thing: status.
It goes to show you where she was always looking, which was not royalty, it was not being an actual influencer in the world. She really just wants to be a Kardashian. That is her level, and that has always been her level.
Meghan wasn't offering friendship, she was auditioning. In her mind, aligning with the Kardashians was the fast track to Hollywood dominance, the shortcut to finally being embraced by the very elites she's been chasing her entire career. But instead of being dazzled, the Kardashians allegedly gave her the coldest brush-off possible. These are women who have built empires by monetizing literally everything, from drama to dollar store gimmicks. Yet they took one look at Meghan's attempt and decided she wasn't worth the brand association. Let that sink in. If the Kardashians, who turned the most trivial moments into headlines, didn't see value in her basket, it means they didn't see value in her, period. And that rejection was louder than any public statement. It told Hollywood exactly what Meghan didn't want anyone to realize. She's not on the A-list, she's not a cultural icon, she's just another desperate figure trying to claw her way into relevance.
Because she wants the Kardashians' attention. She doesn't really care about the royal family. Although the Kardashians, you could argue, don't have a lot of talent, they do work really hard, and Meghan Markle neither has talent nor a good work ethic.
The basket wasn't ignored because it wasn't expensive enough. It was ignored because Meghan herself wasn't.
Woof.
Long before the tiara, the royal titles, and the carefully staged interviews, Meghan Markle was just another actress grinding for scraps in Hollywood. And let's be honest, she wasn't exactly headlining blockbuster films. She was bouncing from brief cameos, game show gigs, and forgettable roles, always angling for something bigger. That hunger for status wasn't hidden. It was her entire brand. Meghan didn't just want to be seen. She wanted to be seen with the right people. Every move in her early career reeked of social climbing, from cozying up to producers at parties to forcing herself into circles that barely acknowledged her existence. The problem? In Hollywood, ambition alone doesn't guarantee acceptance, and Meghan learned that the hard way.
Chris leaking a sex tape of her own daughter with Ray J. Gross. However, they work every single minute of the day to achieve what they have achieved. I would say they are grafters and Meghan is a grifter.
For years, she hovered on the edges of relevance, desperate to leap from supporting character to household name. That desperation never left. It only evolved. Marrying into the British royal family wasn't about love in the fairy tale sense. It was her golden ticket, her ultimate role upgrade. But here's the punchline. Walking away from the monarchy didn't make her a star in Hollywood. It left her stranded. She burned the palace bridges. Yet the Hollywood gates didn't swing open either. Instead of being welcomed as a queen of both worlds, she's now awkwardly stuck between them, too bitter for the royals. others. Too transparent for Hollywood. Meghan wanted the spotlight, but instead, she exposed herself as someone who's always reaching, never arriving.
She doesn't put the work in. She's never been prepared.
No, she never really wanted to do that. And that's why we always see her taking shortcuts through PR and now through these scarcity tactics with her brand. She's not actually really wanting to achieve real success. She's always trying to fake it.
On paper, Meghan probably thought she and the Kardashians were cut from the same cloth. After all, both turned personal drama into headlines. Both carefully stage manage every appearance, and both built their fame on narratives larger than their actual talent. But here's the difference. The Kardashians never lied about what they were. They owned the chaos. Kim, Khloe, and Kris turned scandals into empires, controversies into cash, and mockery into influence. Meghan, on the other hand, cloaks herself in victimhood, pretending her brand is about dignity and compassion. While every move screams desperation for attention, the Kardashians don't need to beg for seats at the table. They built their own table, stacked it with billion-dollar deals, and made the world come to them. Meghan, she's still waiting for someone else to validate her, and that's why the rejection cut so deep.
Even actors have the level of following and the level of influence that the Kardashians have as a result of getting closer to 2 decades of really, really hard work and being professional, being courteous. I've heard that the Kardashians are wonderful interviews. They give you very good attention, and they have seen the great results of that. And Meghan Markle just can't do any of that, and she's also not authentic.
Hollywood respects the Kardashians because they hustle openly, but Meghan tries to disguise her hustle as a noble cause. That's not authenticity. It's manipulation, and everyone in Los Angeles can smell it. Meghan thought aligning herself with reality TV royalty would cement her as Hollywood's new power player, but the Kardashians didn't even flinch. They've survived divorces, cheating scandals, and countless public humiliations, yet their empire only grew stronger. Meanwhile, Meghan can't survive a tabloid headline without staging a teary PR stunt. That's why the Kardashians don't need her, and why her attempt to climb into their world made her look smaller than ever. For someone who constantly claims she hates the media, Meghan sure knows how to use it. From the Oprah sit-down to Netflix specials to carefully timed, anonymous leaks, every so-called revelation was just another performance. At first, people ate it up, the silenced princess finally speaking her truth. But the longer it went on, the cracks showed. The stories shifted, the timelines blurred, and suddenly, sympathy started looking more like strategy.
She hardly is ever seen using her own products. Key thing for a personal brand like this is that you must be willing to use your own products. And Meghan Markle hardly touches any of hers, but this grand vision they're always trying to proclaim about Meghan and how great this brand is just absolutely ridiculous.
Hollywood insiders began rolling their eyes because nothing screams desperation louder than forcing a new bombshell every few months just to stay relevant. The podcast fizzled, the interviews grew repetitive, and the image she pushed started collapsing under its own weight. And here's the irony, Meghan wanted to control her narrative, but in doing so, she exposed how staged it all was. Compare that to real Hollywood power players who know when to pull back and let mystique build. Meghan can't. She's addicted to attention, and it shows. The Kardashian rejection wasn't just personal. It was a flashing neon sign that even the masters of media manipulation see her PR circus for what it is: tired, predictable, and completely unconvincing. Once upon a time, Meghan Markle was painted as the brave outsider who dared to challenge the cold, outdated royal system.
Wow.
Social media warriors rallied around her.
Woof.
Hashtags trended, and every tearful anecdote was treated like gospel. But sympathy has an expiration date, and Meghan's supply ran out faster than she expected.
Meghan Markle is always attempting to, shall we say, build relationships with very, very, very rich men.
The problem wasn't just overexposure, it was the constant contradictions. One week she claimed she wanted privacy, the next she was starring in another tell-all series. She said she escaped a toxic spotlight, yet never stopped chasing it in Hollywood. People started noticing the pattern. Every setback turned into a sob story, every relationship soured, and somehow Meghan was always the victim. Audiences who once defended her began to feel played, and slowly the tide turned. Headlines that used to echo her grievances started questioning her motives.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He served his purpose. His purpose is over, and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So it's time to move on.
Online forums that once shielded her began mocking her. The public doesn't like being manipulated, and Meghan's endless attempts to spin her image began to look less like survival and more like a scam. And now, instead of a symbol of strength, she's become the punchline of celebrity gossip. Meghan didn't lose the public's support because of cruelty. She lost it because she overplayed her hand. Meghan loves to showcase the California mansion, the designer wardrobe, the glossy magazine spreads. But behind the glamour, the reality is far less flattering. For all the wealth and status symbols, her inner circle looks painfully small. Hollywood thrives on alliances, yet Meghan seems to collect burned bridges instead of lasting friendships.
It's really a little bit disturbing. saying that, you know, she doesn't have a family, she doesn't have a father, and then Harry saying that she has no father now. That's just ridiculous.
Former staffers whisper about impossible demands, family ties are in shambles, and even A-listers who once entertained her proximity now keep their distance. The truth is, Meghan has managed to surround herself with walls instead of people. She thought escaping the palace meant freedom, but in California, she's learning that money doesn't buy genuine connection. The Kardashian snub was just the most public example of what's been happening privately for years. Doors quietly closing, texts unanswered, invitations mysteriously lost. Isolation is the cruelest consequence for someone who craves relevance, because it leaves her with only one option: manufacturing drama to feel visible. And while the cameras might still follow her for now, the audience behind them grows smaller every day.
Royal family, you should be so thankful this woman wanted to leave, because she's not going to bring any good to the branding of royal. She's going to downgrade it to a level of ghetto, and that's what it is. This is just bad.
Meghan wanted to be at the center of every room, but today she's finding herself alone in one, talking only to her reflection. For all the staged smiles, polished interviews, and rehearsed sound bites, Meghan Markle carries one fear she can't disguise: irrelevance. That's the nightmare that keeps her awake in her mansion, the thought of being forgotten once the cameras move on. She didn't marry Harry to live quietly. She married him to upgrade her status, to catapult herself into a role bigger than Hollywood could ever offer. But now that the fairy tale is crumbling, the truth is unavoidable. Meghan is terrified she'll fade into the background, reduced to a trivia question about a prince's failed marriage. That fear explains everything.
Do you think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry?
The answer is yes. I mean, every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him.
The constant interviews, the endless leaks, the desperate attempts to stay in headlines. It's not about truth. It's not about justice. It's about survival in the fame game she can't afford to lose. And yet, every time she tries to claw her way back into relevance, it backfires, making her look smaller, needier, and more out of touch. The Kardashians rejecting her gift wasn't just a social snub, it was a brutal reminder that in the circles she craves most, she's not a player, she's a joke. Meghan doesn't fear cruelty, she fears being invisible. And judging by the silence from Hollywood's elite, that fear is already becoming reality. And there it is. The gift basket humiliation wasn't just a funny little moment, it was Meghan Markle's Hollywood wake-up call.
That Meghan Markle really did expect Harry to be a billionaire when she met him. She was incredibly disappointed to find out he's only worth a couple million, and she's gonna have to actually work and hawk these jams and jellies and dog biscuits to have the lifestyle that she wants.
She tried to buy her way into the Kardashian empire, and instead got reminded that real power in Hollywood can't be purchased, staged, or spun with another sob story. For someone who built her brand on playing the victim, nothing could sting worse than being completely dismissed by the very people she thought would crown her as one of their own. Meghan wanted to be seen as untouchable, but all she proved is that she's more isolated, more desperate, and more irrelevant than ever. And if you thought this rejection was savage, wait until you see how comedian Chris Rock absolutely shredded her excuses on stage for the whole world to laugh at. You don't want to miss that one. Check out my previous video right here on Star Spotlight, because if you enjoyed watching Meghan get roasted today, trust me, you're going to love what comes next.